All right, welcome everyone to the Tuesday morning. This is our first session of the week. We didn't have one yesterday due to bank holidays and Jared holidays and U.S. holidays and everything. So we'll just for one moment we'll look at the news for the entire week and just kind of make sure that we know what's coming up. So as far as Tuesday goes, we've seen a little bit of news this week already. Draghi's spoken a little bit, both Sunday and Monday. We had bank holidays in the U.S. and UK on Monday. And then today we have already seen, just recently, we've seen durable goods for the U.S., core durable goods specifically, which came out a little bit worse than expected, but apparently was revised better than expected for the previous number, revised up a little bit from 2% to 2.4, so that's pretty good. Apparently Draghi is speaking again. Why is he speaking 3 days in a row? It feels like a lot of talking. Okay. All right. So the central bank forum. All right. Well, we'll see. We'll see what that does to everything. Consumer confidence in the U.S. as well in about 40 minutes, and then you can see we've got a little bit of news coming out of the Bank of England. Carney's set to speak a little bit later on. Is this like the G20 or something? I forgot. I think I saw this on the calendar last week, starting on Friday or something. I don't know. Anyway, it's one of those. And then we've got some more Bank of Japan stuff on today, and a little bit of New Zealand news. And then going into Wednesday, a little Aussie news there, and then it looks like we got a bunch of bank holidays from Switzerland and Europe and so on. Thursday's pretty decent for U.S. side of things as far as news goes. Preliminary GDP, unemployment claims, pending home sales. Friday, GDP for Canada, and Saturday, some Chinese news. So it's not a heavy news week, which I'm actually pretty glad about. Heavy news weeks are sort of a pain sometimes because there's so much news, there's so much anticipation, there's so much to wait for, blah, blah, blah. It's kind of nice just to have a fairly moderate week, which we have, which is great. Okay, so let's just kind of review a couple of things here. I posted trades and details and so on, a little bit of details from on Sunday, but just looking at the notes right here, you can see I'm just flipping over to the notes. You can see them. These are still valid and so on. Euro dollar, we talked about adding between 137.50 and 138.00 since the last time we met. Obviously, that's a little ways away, so I'm going to be revising that. Those additional entries. We're still short from 137.70, 137.80 area on euro dollar, so that's looking good. Euro dollar is just kind of, you can see we've had a couple of peaking highs here, but we haven't seen 137 anything since about last Wednesday. And so we haven't seen too much there. We had some nice little reversal candles, which I thought would get us back up to the 200 moving average. Still didn't. We have the euro dollar is getting fairly on the oversold side. So I'm definitely looking for some pullback here. We're now 315 bars from the 1 hour 200 moving average. We have a missed weekly pivot back here and so on. So it's a good time for this euro to pull back. We don't have any crazy overextended charts on any other time frames. It's just that 1 hour chart that's kind of getting me. We're about 75 or so away on the 4 hour chart, so nothing crazy. The euro is finally making euro dollar is finally making a strong attempt at the 200 moving average on the daily chart. I'm definitely crazy bullish, or excuse me, bearish, super bearish euro dollar. But I do think that we could see a little bit of retracement. I think it's probably starting to get to a good point where some of that short-term retracement is about due. So if we just kind of look at the setups that we have here, we have channels, we have a couple of things, but we definitely are working on a little bit of a falling wedge here, which isn't huge, but could definitely get us up to some of that retracement area that I'm looking for, at least up to the 200 moving average, and so on. I'm going to be a little bit careful about adding positions too soon to our shorts on euro dollar. I don't think we're going to see 138.30 super duper soon, but you never know. You never know. We don't want to exclude that possibility, but I think it might be a little while before we see that. Could be a couple of weeks. But I do think we're going to get some retracement. I still think we could get up into, I think we'll probably fairly easily get above 13700. So I'm going to hold off adding any positions until we get above 13700. Still ideally as close to 13750 as possible, I think, is a safe bet. And a good place to be getting in, and so I'm kind of looking for that still to be an entry. So we're just going to kind of watch. This is a 4-hour chart. We're going to watch this falling wedge, see if we get some breaks, see if we get some retracement into the 200 moving average so that this can continue moving lower without getting more and more overextended like it's getting. I definitely would not be adding any more positions right now or trying to look at a short-term position on euro dollar. Because just because of how that 1-hour chart looks. So we're just kind of in maintenance mode. We're holding on to our position. It's looking great. We're about 150 pips in profit, and we'll just sit on it, which is great, which is fine. I don't hate sitting on a 150 pip trade and waiting for it to look better and better and better. And that's kind of what we're doing here. So we'll just hold on and wait and get some retracement above 13700. I don't have that exact entry yet. I don't have like a pending order that I want to put on it yet. I just know somewhere up around 137.50 I would love to continue shorting euro dollar, but probably not as high as 137.50, but possibly, maybe, but definitely above 13700. So I want to see it, a little chunk of retracement. We're down at 136.36 right now, so that's going to require, 65 plus pips of pullback, but I think we can get it. Otherwise, we've got a decent position, and we'll hold on to it as long as we need to. But I think that's a good one to be watching for as far as that next entry goes. Hopefully, now flipping back to the notes here, this trade was posted Sunday. It took at least an entire day before this fill. This was our pound dollar trade, and I was talking about shorts between 168.75 and 168.90. Just a small little range there of 15 pips with stops and or hedges above 169.25. So fairly tight parameters. I hope as many as possible got into this trade. Here is our high right here was 168.81, so it went 6 pips past our lowest entry. So I know some might have been trying to get in closer to 16900 maybe or something, but it did get within our range, and therefore I definitely consider this a filled trade. I'm in it. And I think it's a great looking little setup here. Yeah, that was a close one, Donovan. Jeez Louise, got in barely on that. All right, missed by a couple of pips. All right, there will definitely be a few barely misses on this one, but overall we're now short. We have our official next entry here. And we're short pound dollar, and it's a great looking little setup. From our lowest entry now, it sits 60 plus pips in profit. So it looks like a good little trade here. Now the pound pairs are kind of interesting. I'm totally just all in bearish pound dollar, and this position that we have right now. Pound dollar is such an interesting one right now. It's so just, I don't even know what I think. So far this rising wedge is holding very nicely. We're still looking for it. Our fib levels here, we're looking for it to kind of get down to some of these fib levels. The 23% fib is all the way down here at 16500, below 16500. We have huge profit potential in the works here on pound dollar. We have this rising wedge that's hanging in there. If we were to extend this kind of a rising wedge and do it with these levels, it turns into barely a rising wedge and more of a there we go, and almost more of just a channel, but still a narrowing wedge. And so I kind of have been looking at this thinking, okay, is this going to bounce off this, or is it going to head higher? What do we have going on here? And honestly, I don't know yet. I know that the pound dollar is coming down big time coming down. Is it going to make one more push higher before it makes that big move down? Possibly. And that's where I'm just kind of hanging in there, holding on, watching and waiting, and we'll take this position that we have right here and we'll just hold on to it. It's safe to say we can lock in profit on this position so that if it does spike up, we can get into it one more time at a higher price before we start really stacking on those entries short. But it's safe to say the pound dollar is coming down in a big way. All this stalling out and kind of just sitting, doing what it's doing, is definitely putting the pound dollar in a position of just, you know, great area to add on those shorts and really start piling into it. I think it's getting some traders nervous. I think some of this consolidation's looked at as a consolidation before continuation of the trend. I am outright totally against that point of view. I think it could continue up just a little bit, but I don't think there's going to be a big continuation of trend. I think there's going to be one more spike out to clear out all the positions and start heading down. The pound dollar is so extended on the daily chart that it's now gotten ridiculous. So what I want to make sure of is I don't want anybody to miss this move down. We're 233 bars away on the daily chart. Let's look at that as something huge and major and super important. The pound dollar is coming down. The lowest that the minimal, the least target that we will see will be 165.00, over 300 pips below where it currently is, and nearly 400 pips from our current entry. So I want to make sure that everybody gets a piece of this. This is going to be a great trade. This is going to be something that we're going to easily make 300 or 400 pips on, and I want to make sure you guys all get in on that. So be looking for more entries. This is again, this is a great setup, but I'm definitely not set on the fact that we're not going to see one more little spike, one more little push higher, which is number one, why we should have our profit locked in on this. Number two, why there will possibly be additional entries. But I don't want everyone to kind of sit back and say, don't worry, I'll catch the next one, because there is a next one, but we want to be very active, very vigilant about getting that next entry. And so if this does not spike higher, which I think is actually a very real possibility, then we're gonna have to be very cautious about getting into this more and more. So just keep an eye on that. Let's watch trend lines, let's watch levels, but for the moment we're in it. And I want everyone that is not in to keep an eye on our entry. Go, place a pending order back at 168.75, and let's just see if this spikes up tonight or does something crazy and gets those into the trade that did not get in. But we're now short 168.75. Great little entry, great looking trade. Everything looks pretty fantastic. I don't know why I have no feel for the Aussie dollar. I don't know what is going on here on Aussie dollar, except for the fact that I'm still watching 9,200. A break of 9,200, I'll short Aussie dollar. That's about all I got. That's all I got. So I just don't have much opinion here, other than shorting the break of 9,200. So that's what I'm looking at on Aussie dollar. I feel pretty confident that it's going to come down a decent amount before it heads too much higher, but that's about it. That's about all I can offer on the Aussie dollar. So there you have it. One thing that is good that happened within the last several hours is a nice little reset of the 200 moving average. It wasn't crazy overextended, but it was working its way into that. It'd be about 150 bars away now. Nothing too crazy on daily or 4-hour charts there. So those are looking good. So let's just see if 9,200 breaks and kind of what happens there. Okay, so some are in on dollar CAD, and this dollar CAD refuses to get above 109.15. Remember, we're looking for 109.15 to really hold, and we got this little open in the middle of the week, and then it just didn't hold. And remember, we're really specifically looking for that on the daily chart, and it just cannot get above 109.15. It closes right at it. You can see right here. There we go. Right there we have these candle bodies that are right at 109.15, but it just can't seem to close above that, and it's having a heck of a time. So it still stands. An open on the daily chart above 109.15 is still a bullish move for dollar CAD. Otherwise, it's just, it's just going to continue to kind of slip and slide and so on. One thing that I do love about any chart, any time of the day, is when we have a test of a 200 moving average, especially on longer term time frames, breaks of that test of the 200 moving average are fairly significant. So we have 108.15 right here, which was a test of the 200 moving average, which caused these little train tracks right here. And below that, I would be short dollar CAD. Below 108.15 looks like a great short on dollar CAD. So I think that one is a good little position there. And will be worth watching. But so far, I still am optimistic that the dollar CAD is going to head higher. I just think it's going to head higher. But watch that 108.15, and when and if that breaks, that will be good to get short. But as long as it holds above that, I think we have a good chance of getting back above 109.15 and onward. So if anybody is watching dollar CAD, there's a channel to be watched here. Just a simple break of 108.15. I would look at getting in short at 108.10 to 108.05, right in that general area. Otherwise, I would look specifically for an open on the daily chart above 109.15. So that's what I'm looking at on dollar CAD. If we get above 109.15, I'm looking for 11100 as kind of my first target. If we break 108.15, I'm going to be looking at like 106.50 as my first target on the downside. So there's good there's good trades either way. On the dollar CAD. So yes, good little areas. Yep, 108.15 short. Yep, break of 108.15 to sell. Exactly. Short this position down to 106.50. Euro Aussie. Remember, we are just doing all kinds of stuff on Euro Aussie. We're watching this thing. We've been sitting and hanging and holding on and so on. And Euro Aussie's been just kind of all over the map. Remember, we had some shorts between 147.80 and 14800. Little 20 pip range there. Just flipped over the notes to show everyone that. We saw those. Remember the spikes earlier last week that ran up. There were some hedges and then closing of hedges. And now we're just in an open, exposed position with about 60 pips profit. So not too bad, 60 to 80 pips profit, depending on what your entry was. So we're short Euro Aussie, and it's looking excellent. And I love this trade. I love this whole situation here, and I love that we have this nice big head and shoulders pattern playing out. And I love that 140-200 is awaiting our arrival. So still holding on to that, looking for 140-200, and yes, I'm serious, and I think we have got a very nice, very big, fat profit target / payday waiting for us down there. If you're not in Euro Aussie, I suggest being in it. I jump into this thing. We still want to be short this pair, and right now, if you're not in, getting short against this high, I think, is pretty good. Excellent, Mel. That's great. You definitely want to be in this one a couple of times, or some good sized positions or something, because this is a great trade. I love the Euro Aussie. And so right now, being short against 148.70 is a good area. 148.70. Which is just the high of last week. I like that. That's a good area to be short against. It's 150 pips away, so I'll let those that are not in yet kind of plan your entries against this high. But 148.70 is a great area to be short against. So we want to be looking at that and ready for that little situation. But we are already in the trade, and we're looking to continue taking this thing down. And it's just a great setup. So nothing too much to say to that, except for I am absolutely positively holding on to 140, 140.200. I'm just holding on to it. It's gonna get there, and it might take a while, and I might get a whole bunch of crazy movements in the middle, but it's gonna get there. Pound Aussie, we're not in Pound Aussie, but I'm getting pretty interested in Pound Aussie now, and I like, just like Euro Aussie, I like that it's kind of making some highs finally and coming off those. You can see same as Euro Aussie, highs of last week were, Euro Aussie were about 150 pips away, Pound Aussie about 175. So getting short against this is starting to look pretty good. I'm going to kind of decide exactly what I want to do a little bit better with this Pound Aussie, but overall I like that it's failing here and that it's heading back down, and I think we're going to still make this nice run on the Pound Aussie down into the lower 170s. So not missed opportunity yet. Any opportunity to get short against this high here, 83.30 area, is great. And I'll have some more specifics on this one, but I like short Pound Aussie, short Euro Aussie. Those are great. CAD Swiss franc's looking great. I only have to say about this, hold on, hang in there. It's looking awesome. So we have some great profits here. The CAD Swiss franc is going to start to slow and start to consolidate and very likely start to recover and pull back and so on. Remember, we're in from 80.20 and 80.40. We're in some like pretty excellent profit on this CAD Swiss franc right now. And excuse me, and it's just looking awesome, and I love this whole setup. It's just looking super fantastic. So that being the case, we're just going to hang on here. I'm still looking for 8,300 and 8,350. 8,350 I think is worth holding on to and waiting for, but we're going to touch the 200 moving average for the first time in a very long time, like a very long time. Good grief, I almost can't even go back to it. It hasn't touched in 275 daily bars, which is pretty big. So it's going to touch for the very first time right around 82.80 area. So be prepared for some pullback. That might be a good spot to take. Actually, this will be a good spot to take one of your positions off. I would say close one position on CAD Swiss franc at that 82.80, and let's let the next one run up to 83.50. And beyond 83.50, it could very likely continue on. The one thing that I do like is if we look at kind of this most recent run right here as far as Fibonacci levels go, we still have plenty of missed pivots up here, and we have plenty of that in the works. And likewise, we have just, in the last couple of days, we've just closed above the 23% fib, which gives us a super high probability of reaching the 38% fib, which is up around 84.75. So we're not done really with any kind of movement here, but I just don't want to go too crazy on this and have it pull back too much, because we're coming into some pretty severe resistance. So again, close one of your positions or part of your positions at 82.80, and then let's let the rest run to 83.50. Anybody that is feeling super brave or maybe has a large position, you can definitely let this run to 84.50, 84.75 area. We'll probably never get an entry on Aussie New Zealand, and I'm just coming to terms with that. So I'll keep you guys posted if I find something, but I really love this setup, but it might be a little bit tricky to get into. Dollar Swiss franc, I still love dollar Swiss franc. It's right at the 200 moving average. You can see that it's wanting to do something on the retracement side, but not wanting it that bad because it's just continuing higher. So we're still looking for entries down around 88.50, 60, 70 area. Between 88.50 and 88.75 would be a great spot to be getting into this, but I'll just kind of continue to wait. I'm not gonna chase anything up there, so we'll just hang on to that and see how that one goes and looks. but dollar Swiss franc looks pretty decent, and we'll get into it as soon as we can get into it. Just like the euro dollar, the 1 hour chart on this one is getting a little on the overextended side. Here we are 310 bars away on the 1 hour chart. So let's definitely not try to trade any breaks of highs or anything, because this one is going to be pulling back at some point. So let's get in on some of that retracement and jump into that. So again, down in the 88.75 area would be awesome. I think we could see that. Especially as we get into the end of the month. Remember, here we are at the 27th. We could see some big profit-taking moves on all of these pairs. We could see euro dollar really push higher. We could see dollar Swiss franc pull back lower. So those are going to be good little setups coming. Okay, so we have some euro CAD. I'm flipping over to the notes here as well. And remember, euro CAD entries are still just pretty excellent. We talked about we've been in from 14900, remember, and we talked about the fact that I never moved my stops to break even on this one. Some may have, and some might have been kicked out of it, but I never did move my stops to break even. And it just really kept on trucking. So I hope everyone is still in. Who is still in the euro CAD, by the way? I'm curious about this one because I love this trade. And from our original position, we're up just over 100 pips right now. So okay, good. All right, Lila's in it. Danila, Mel, good, excellent. I love this euro CAD. It's a great little setup. And I just want to point out, guys, that we have got some great entries right now. We have a euro dollar that's up 150 pips. We have a pound dollar that's up 60 or so pips. We have a euro Aussie position that's up a good little chunk. We have a CAD Swiss franc that's up over 200 pips. All currently open right now. We have a euro CAD trade that's up just over 100 pips. So we have a lot of pips on the table right now, a lot of good profits that are just swirling in our account, and everybody should make some very excellent cash. If you're in on all of these trades, awesome. If you're in on half of the trades, still it's a great payday. So we have some really good positions in the works here. And euro CAD is looking great, and we're just gonna hang on to this euro CAD. I mean, I don't really have too much to say about this other than let's just hold on to it. We're short from 14900, and it's now breaking that 200 moving average setup right here. The euro CAD is not necessarily oversold from the hourly chart perspective. We're about 103 bars. Nothing too crazy there on the 1 hour chart. 4 hour charts. 4 hour chart's pushing it a little bit, but it's still not crazy overextended, 80 bars or so. Nothing is looking too crazy on this one. 15-minute might give us just a little bit of pullback, and that could give some nice opportunities to add to the position. We're about 295 bars on the 15-minute chart, and I'm not a huge 15-minute chart trader, but when we see it that extended on a short-term time frame, we might just get a little bit of pullback here. And you can see the euro CAD is about 30 pips away from that 15-minute chart. So this could be a good little opportunity to get in above 14800 to continue shorting this euro CAD. I think it's a great little setup, and this ultimate break of 147.80 is looking super awesome. And I think we're going to get that nice little move down there. Into all of that. Remember, our first little short-term target's 147.50, but ultimately our bigger targets are, if we're talking price projection here and so on, our bigger targets are definitely down at 14500, 143.50 area. So there's lots and lots of profit potential on this one. So hang in there. It's going to be a nice little mover, but we might get a little retracement. So let's just kind of wait for some of that retracement. We might see it sooner than later, and I will be suggesting where I think everyone should continue getting short and being short on Euro CAD. But let's see if we get a little bit of retracement. Euro CAD's a little on the extended side. Euro dollar's a little on the extended side. It's kind of looking like a decent setup for some pullback. Pound CAD, I like a decent amount. I'm getting really bearish pound pairs, super bearish pound pairs. We have this nice little trend line. We have our 23% fib. We have the 200 moving average. We have all this stuff on the pound CAD that's about 350 pips down. So honestly, the pound CAD is just a good one to basically start getting into. But as far as super exact entries go, I would like to see it get out of this channel. I've just been a little bit cautious about this whole thing because it's kind of really bouncing around in this area. Getting out of this channel is going to be nice. Getting some opens down here below 8,200 will be pretty significant. You can see we've got some trend lines and some good things happening right there about 8,200 area. So if we can get a daily open below that, I think that's going to open this thing up for the 350 pip move down into some of these first levels of big support. So I'm going to be looking at getting in below 8,200. Any spikes, I will be selling the heck out of any rallies here on pound CAD. Definitely against some of these highs of last week, 84.75, which is a little bit far away right now. But again, you know, if we see any of that happen, we'll definitely be looking to get into that. But probably our entry will be somewhere below 8,200. And so we're just going to kind of keep our eye out on that, see where it all ends up going. You know, again, we've got a little bit of an extended 15-minute chart, which can just act as a good timing chart and get us into maybe a little bit of a better entry there. So we're keeping our eye on that. And then last but not least, sorry to cover 99 pairs, but I figure we have a little bit of catch up to do here. Pound Swiss franc is looking like a very nice little setup here, and I actually like this one a lot. The daily chart's not looking super fantastic. It is sitting kind of at this double top area, 151, just a little bit above 150-100, and that acts as a fairly significant level. We do have a 200 moving average on a weekly chart that, as you can see, good grief, has not been hit in a very long time. So we could see a little bit of a spike higher on that one before it really starts coming down. But this 150-120 is pretty significant right now. But otherwise, 4-hour chart is looking, you know, it's starting to get to this extended period here, about 80 bars away. 1-hour chart is looking even better. The 1-hour chart has given us a little bit of heavy consolidation over the last few days. It's 220 bars away. If the pound chef, just mark my words on this one, it's a little bit of a tricky entry. If it breaks this high of 151, 151.20 area, then let's just hang on, and we're going to be looking for huge shorts above 150-100, huge shorts. So we're going to definitely be ready for that one, but it might be a little while. So just keep this one in the back of your hats, but it's looking like a good little setup. Okay, guys, my throat is probably going to fly out of my body because I've talked so much. So I'm going to get this video posted. I'm going to update the notes, and I'm going to be right here for any questions that anyone might have. So send them on over. But we're sitting in some super excellent trades with some super excellent profit, and I'm pretty fantastically excited about all the positions we're in right now. So I'll update everything, and I'll be looking for your questions.